Hello everyone. Welcome to this session on servlets. So in this session, we are going to learn about how to create servlets. Okay. So in my previous video, I had discussed extensively about the various terminologies that are associated with the creation of a servlet, like what is a container, then what is a server, what is a client, what is a protocol that we are using, that is HTTP, and then what are the properties of a servlet. Now in this video, let us try to understand, let us try to create an servlet using an IDE called as Eclipse. Okay, so let me move on to my PPT. So I said that there are basically three ways to create a servlet. There are three ways to create the servlet. That is, first one is by implementing the servlet interface, and the second method is by using the by extending the generic servlet class, and the third, this is the generics, by extending the generic servlet class. This is the second way of creating a servlet, and the last way and the most popular way of creating a servlet is by extending HTTP servlet class. So one is by implementing an interface called as servlet, and the other two are implementing by generic servlet and by extending generic servlet or by extending HTTP servlet. And let me tell you, the most popular and commonly used way is to extend the HTTP servlet class. Now, let us try to understand I have discussed about what are interfaces in my core Java videos. As all of you know, interfaces will be having abstract methods defined inside it, and it is the responsibility of the implementation class to override all those abstract methods declared inside the interface. So let us understand what are the methods that are declared inside the servlet interface. So it provides a common behavior to all the servlets. And the methods, there are 5 methods in servlet interface. The init, service, and destroy are the lifecycle methods of the servlet. These are invoked by the, who invokes all these methods, lifecycle methods, they are invoked by the web container. So let us try to understand the product signature of these methods. I said there are 5 methods declared inside the servlet interface. And these 5 methods are init, service, destroy, get servlet config, and get servlet info. So the first method, that is public void init, and it takes one argument, that is servlet config as argument. It initializes the servlet. As the name implies, this method is used to initialize the servlet. It is a lifecycle method of the servlet and invoked by the web container only once. So init method will be invoked by the web container only once during the life cycle of a servlet, and all the initialization parameters should be declared inside the init method. Next comes the service method. This is also a life cycle method of the servlet. So it takes 2 arguments, that is servlet request and servlet response. It provides response for the incoming request. It is invoked at each request by the web container. That is, whenever we send a request to the server from the client, we will be sending request to the server, isn't it? So whenever we send a request from the client, this particular method will be invoked on the server side. So which is that method? That is public void service. So how many requests are coming, how much ever requests are coming, that many times this method will be invoked inside the container. Now, next one is public, next lifecycle method is public void destroy. This will be invoked only once, like init, and indicates that the servlet is being destroyed, as its name implies. Next 2 methods, these are not lifecycle methods, that is get servlet config, and it returns an object of servlet config. It gives us the details of the servlet's configuration. Next is get servlet info, returns information about servlets such as writer, copyright, version, etc. So these are the 5 methods that are being defined inside the servlet interface. Now we know the drawback of interfaces, that is, even though we may not require some methods, if it is mandatory to override all the methods defined inside the interface. So this is one way of creating a servlet. Now comes the second way, that is by extending the generic servlet class. So the first way was implementing the servlet interface, and the next method is by extending the generic servlet class. So generic servlet class implements servlet, servlet config and serializable interfaces. It provides the implementation of all the methods of these interfaces except the service method. Okay. So generic servlet class can handle any type of request. So it is protocol independent. Okay. It's a protocol independent class. It can handle any type of request. You may create a generic servlet by inheriting the generic servlet class and providing the implementation of the servlet method, because servlet method is an abstract method inside it, and you can have to provide the implementation for the of the service method. Okay. Next comes the most popular way of creating the servlet, that is by extending the HTTP servlet. The HTTP servlet class extends the generic servlet class and implements the serializable interface. Okay. It provides HTTP specific methods such as doGet, doPost, doHead, doTrace, etc. Then let us try to understand which are the methods of HTTP servlet. That is public void service, HTTP servlet request. HTTP servlet receives the request from the service method and dispatches the request method depending on incoming HTTP type. Okay. Then doGet, doPost, doHead, do options, do put, do delete, get last modified. These are all methods of the HTTP servlet class. Now comes the life cycle of a servlet. So before going to create a servlet, let me explain the life cycle of a servlet. The servlet class will be loaded. Then the servlet instance will be created. Init method is invoked. Service method is invoked. Destroy method is invoked. So first, what is the life cycle of it? First, the servlet class will be loaded. Then an object of that class is created. Then first init method is called. And as I have explained earlier, init method will be called only once during the life cycle of a servlet. And then the service method will be invoked. How many requests you pass, that many times this service method will be invoked. And the destroy method is also called once during the life cycle of a servlet. That is, during the lifetime of a servlet, once you need to destroy the servlet, that method will be invoked. And who maintains the life cycle of the servlet instance? The web container maintains the life cycle of the instance. So I have kept a diagrammatic representation of the things, that is load servlet class, initial session state, ready state, and destruction state. So load servlet class creates servlet instance, call the init method, call the service method, and call the destroy method. As displayed in the above diagram, there are three states of a servlet: new, ready, and end state. The servlet is a new state if servlet instance is created. After invoking the init method, servlet comes into the ready state. So after calling the init method, the servlet comes to the ready state. In the ready state, servlet performs all the tasks. When the web container invokes the destroy method, it shifts to the end state. Okay. Now, let us try to understand what are the steps. Here in this example, throughout this session, that is in all the upcoming videos, I will be using Eclipse, my software requirement. I will be using Eclipse IDE, and I have configured Apache Tomcat inside Eclipse. Okay, Tomcat is my server and Eclipse is the IDE. Now, if you are doing without any IDE, that is if you are writing your program in a notepad, you have to create a directory structure. Okay, so we should understand the directory structure before proceeding to create a program in the IDE. So when do you create a directory structure? That is, if you are doing the program without any IDE, that is without Eclipse or NetBeans, if you are doing this program in a notepad, then you have to create a directory structure. So in that, what you should do is, I'm just showing you the directory structure and all. So first you have to create a directory structure, create a servlet, compile the servlet, create a deployment descriptor, start the server, and deploy the applications. So don't get like confused by hearing all these new terminologies. I'll be explaining all these in detail. So have patience. The servlet example can be created by three ways, as I said before. That is by implementing the servlet interface. Next one is by inheriting the generic servlet class, or by inheriting the HTTP servlet class. So I'm not going to show how to implement the servlet interface or the generic servlet class. We'll be doing all our examples by extending the HTTP servlet class. The directory structure defines. Now I said that in the servlet, if you have to create a servlet example, first you should have a directory structure. Okay, so let us try to understand what is a directory structure. So Sun Microsystem defines a unique standard to be followed by all the server vendors. As far as this directory structure is concerned, there is a certain rule to put the different files, okay, types of files, so that the web container may get the information and respond to the client. So this is the directory structure diagram. So web app, that is a context root. Under web app, you have web-inf, web-inf. Under web-inf, you have classes. And then under web-inf, you have this web.xml, which is called as the deployment descriptor. So I have introduced you that name in the previous slide, deployment descriptor. So the container understands what all things it has to be loaded by reading this deployment descriptor. Or in other words, its name is web.xml. Then this HTML, JSPs are all comes under web app, okay? And servlet classes should be kept written under the classes folder. HTML or JSP should be kept under the context root. So this is the directory structure that has to be created by you if you are writing inside a notepad. Now, software requirements. I said that I'm using Eclipse IDE. So please download go to eclipse.org and download Eclipse. And I have mentioned the download link for Tomcat. You can download Tomcat from this. And if you're on a Mac, then click on the zip file. If you're on Windows and you have two options, 32-bit and 64-bit, depending on your operating system type, click on the zip file. For example, if you are on 64-bit Windows, then click on the 64-bit Windows zip. So now let us go to, already I have go to Eclipse. So this is the IDE that I'll be using throughout this session to develop Servlet as well as JSPs, okay? And then like Tomcat has to be configured. Please download Eclipse, it's very simple. Go to eclipse.org and download Eclipse, okay? Then next you have to download Tomcat from the link I have shown in the PPT. And then you have to configure after downloading Tomcat, you have to configure Tomcat in Eclipse. So I'll show you how to do that. There is the servers tab here. So what you have to do this, right click here, and you have this option called as new server. You see this new server, and once you click on this new server, if you have installed Tomcat, you can select that version of Tomcat you have installed. For example, I'm using Tomcat v9 server. So just mention those things here, click on next, and then just add that path. Wherever you have stored Tomcat, just add it, okay? So I'm not going to add, since I have already added configured Tomcat in my Eclipse. I'm not going to do it once more. You guys, please go ahead and configure Tomcat in your Eclipse. So let us try do our first servlet program. So for that, click on File, New, okay? And then you see many options under this. Select Dynamic Web Project. So project name is first Video Servlet. This is my project name, first Video Servlet. Click on next. You can see this. Click on next, and then you have to check this. Tick this checkbox, that is generate web.xml deployment descriptor, and then click on finish, okay? It's taking some time to create the directory structure. Yeah, so what was the name of this thing? First Video Servlet. This is my project, okay? First videos, expand this node, okay? So you can see these are the things that comes under this, that is deployment descriptor, Java resources, web content, and so on. So just expand this Java resources node, and then you have this SRC. So first I'm going to, what I will do is right click on this SRC, and then I'm going to create a new package. The package name is my pack. Okay, finish. Now we are going to create a hello world servlet for the first time. So new servlet. What is my servlet? Okay, I'll just show you. So I created a package under this SRC folder, and this package name I gave it as my pack. Now what you have to do, right click on this and write new servlet. You have this option here to create a servlet, that is new servlet. Click on that. Then it will ask for the superclass. So I said that I'm going to servlets, as I showed you in the PPT, it can be created using different ways, but I'm going to extend HTTP servlet. That is why I have selected this superclass like javax.servlet.http.HttpServlet. So my servlet name is first servlet. Okay, this is my servlet name, that is first servlet. Click on next. So it will ask what is the URL that has to be typed once this servlet is loaded. So mine is, I'm going to edit this and I'm going to write like //welcome. So this is the URL pattern which I'm going to type. Okay, click on OK. Next. And which are the methods which you are planning to override? I want only do get, I don't want do post, only do get. So click on finish. Okay. So my first servlet is created here. First servlet.java is created here. Okay. So here I'm going to, whenever you need to type something, you should have this print writer object. So I have to import print writer. Just like we type system.out.println, that is for typing to the console. Here I want to type to the web page. Okay. So I need an object of print writer, out object of print writer. Okay. So import java.io.printWriter. I'm going to instantiate this print writer class in order to write something to the web page. Okay. So I have to create an object of print writer. So first I will write response dot set content type text or HTML. That is the response that is going to, I'm setting the response. Okay, response dot set content type text or HTML. Now create an object of print writer. So print writer out. This is capital W, that is why I'm getting an error. Print writer out is equal to response dot, once I call response dot get writer, I get an object of print writer. Put semicolon. And then I have to print write to the body of the web page. So once you get a what is servlet? Servlets is a program that is running on the server side, and my intention is to just print welcome to my web page. Okay, and that is my intention. So out dot println, since it is a web page, I have to web pages, you know how to write web pages, that is it should be having HTML I should write, isn't it? So HTML body, and then again out dot println h1, that is header 1. Okay, welcome to servlets. That is the thing which we are going to just putting very simple. That is welcome to, so close the header. Okay, h1. Put semicolon. Now whichever tags, how do you write HTML inside the body? I am writing this header like welcome to servlets. Then what I am doing is close the header. So this quotes should be after this header. That is why we got the error here. And then again out dot println, close the HTML, and then close the, first you should close the body, and then you should, whichever tags you opened last, that should be closed first. Close the body and then close the HTML. Okay, close the out object. Okay, whichever resources you open, please close it. Out dot close. I'm going to close the thing. Okay, Now this is what, so you can see that Eclipse, there is no need for me to override the doGet method since I checked it while creating servlets. This method is automatically there in the IDE. That is the advantage of using an IDE. You don't have to type each and every bit of code. Okay, you don't have to type each single line. These methods, I am getting a skeleton of the method and I have to fill in the rest of the details. Now what should I do? So the servlet part is, I'm just writing a simple servlet. Only one message is displayed on the web page, that is welcome to servlets. That is because it's our first program, we are just displaying a welcome message. Now what is the thing? Now I should go to this, expand this web content node. So under web content, you have this folder called as web-inf. And web-inf, you have this deployment descriptor called as web.xml. Click on this, expand this, and see the code. So I don't want any welcome page, just delete this off. We are not dealing with any welcome page right now. So under this, we have to do some mapping. Since I am writing a servlet in this, you should tell the container which are components you are going to write in this program. I'm mentioning, I have to tell the container explicitly. Container, what it will do is, it will read this deployment descriptor or web.xml and it will load that particular class and then it will instantiate the object of the class. So first I am mentioning that I'm having a servlet. I should mention the name of the servlet. Okay, so servlet hyphen name. What is my servlet name? My servlet name is, my servlet is inside the package called as mypack. So I will write mypack dot first servlet. Mypack dot first servlet is my servlet name, and then next thing is servlet class. So servlet class, what is the name of the servlet class? That is mypack. It is inside the package. So mypack dot first servlet. Mypack dot first, should be careful because Java is case sensitive. Care should be taken while writing the names. First servlet. Okay, this is correct. Next is close. Next is servlet. One more tag is there, that is servlet mapping. So I should map the servlet. So servlet mapping tag. Again, I have to write the servlet name. Servlet hyphen name. And that is what mypack dot first servlet. Mypack dot first servlet, and then URL mapping. I should mention the URL mapping, URL pattern which I had given, that is /welcome. That was the pattern which I had given while creating the servlet. So this is the URL pattern which I'm going to give, that is /welcome, and the name of my servlet is, because it is inside a package called as mypack, I'm mentioning that mypack.firstServlet, and servlet class is also mypack.first. You should write this correctly. That is, since the servlet class is inside this package, I have to mention that explicitly. Now what you should do is right click on this, listen carefully, right click on this and then go to properties. Okay, go to properties and click on Java build path. So you will see some libraries. Okay, and in the here under this libraries, you should add extra, click on add external jars. Okay, and here I have this servlet which is there in the Tomcat directory, servlet API.jar. Just search for your jar file, click on that servlet API.jar and then open, click on this open tab. So the servlet API.jar comes in the build path. Okay, it is very man. Sometimes you'll not get the output if you don't add this particular jar file. So already this is there in the Tomcat, but sometimes you're not getting this. So I'm not taking any risk. I'm just adding the servlet API.jar to the build path. It is there inside your Tomcat. Okay, so you can just add it. You don't have to download it. It is there in Tomcat. Okay, Tomcat directory. So I click select apply and close. Now what you should do is go to your project and clean the project. Okay, so it will ask that is first video servlet, that is the name of my project. So I have checked that. Click on clean. So here cleaning is done. Now what I should do is right click on this, click on run as, and then you have this option called as run on server. So click on that. So it is asking me which all save the resources, which all resources have to be saved. So save selected, I'm going to type. And now it is asking which is your server. So I have installed Tomcat version 9. So I'm going to select that and then click next. And it will ask the name of my this thing, that is my first video servlet. I just highlighting that. I just want to configure thing. I'm selecting my this one. Click on finish. So Tomcat is page loaded with error. So I just have to check something here. Response dot set content type text or HTML. Print writer out is equal to response dot get writer out dot println HTML body. I'm just checking whether I have made mistakes over here. Out dot println H1. Welcome to servlets. Close the H1. Out dot println, close the body. Close the HTML. Out dot close. It's correct only. Void do get. So let me just clean the project once more. Project clean. So yeah, now it's correct. And then you have to mention what was the, now you are getting, when your page is not found, it will give you, server will give you a 404 error. That is page not found error, because I have to type the full URL. So that was /welcome. That was the URL pattern I had given in the deployment descriptor /welcome. Once I type this, I'll get the page. So you can see the output, that is welcome to servlets. Okay. So where did I get the give this welcome? That is, if you open this deployment descriptor, that is web.xml, you can see that this is the URL pattern, that is /welcome. So I have to provide that. So that is how I'll run this once more and show you. Run on server, Tomcat, next, first video servlet, finish. So here you have to type welcome, that is a URL pattern. And then you can see this is what welcome to servlets. That is what I had written in my first here in the class, servlet class. That is, here we have written welcome to servlet. So it is running fine. Okay. So that was how you create servlets in Eclipse. Okay. So we will be doing more complex programs in the upcoming sessions. Please continue watching. Thanks for watching.